The first official Angels book is out now.
Yeah.
Why has it taken so long?
Well, it's a fair question. Really, I think, Rick and I just got to the point where we realised that our story hasn't been told, and we've been playing together now for 47 years, and the Angels started in '74, and it's quite a story, and we just figured that now's the time, really, and we can still remember what happened.
Who ended up having the best memory, you or Rick?
Well, I'd probably say me, and he'd probably say him. I think I'm pretty happy with my memory banks, if you like. But there were times when we remember things slightly differently. But there's always somebody else who was around us at the time who could back it up and say, "Oh, no, actually, sort of happened like this," So, but I think the story, is still pretty active in our minds, So.
Yeah. Did you unearth anything that made you think, "Oh wow, I'd forgotten all about that"? Or
actually, what's happening is you're doing interviews like this one today. You suddenly remember something that happened, and you go, "Oh God, we should have put that in the book." So there's always things. Obviously it's been a pretty active life. 43 years of the Angels. There's been changes, obviously, through those years. There's been some tragedies. A lot less grief and legal stuff than people seem to think. I think that was beat up a bit in the press. But, look, it's great. And, here we are, with Dave Leeson being in the band now for 6 years, and my son Sam on the bass now for close to that. But that was very sad reasons, because Chris Bailey got cancer and died, but look, life goes on. The band goes on. We're still writing new songs, playing live gigs to massive crowds, and loving it.
Yeah, you've just wrapped up the Reading Music Questions and Answers tour with Raymond there as MC. How were those events? Was that a little bit stepping outside the comfort zone for you, or did you really end up really enjoying yourself?
Well, both outside the comfort zone and totally enjoying it. To play songs with just Rick and my brother Rick and me is it's interesting, to not have the rhythm section play with us. But it works. And the thing is that, those songs that we wrote actually work stripped right back. In a way, it was very important to us when we wrote those songs that if you could pick up an acoustic guitar and play, for example, Take a Long Line, and it still worked, and you knew you had a good song. But to have Raymond there was fantastic, because, he was there. He was on the road with us when we toured the world, and so he saw it all from first hand, and also he's extremely intelligent and a very good speaker, and very entertaining, quite funny actually. So that sort of put us more in the comfort zone. What you referred to the comfort zone. That he was very good for that. For us.
Did you get any curly questions there that you couldn't answer, or any interesting ones that you mentioned before that you keep thinking now of things that you wish had gone in the book? Did anyone remind you of anything maybe that you'd overlooked?
It's more in radio interviews and TV and talking to people like yourself that we remember certain things. The audiences at these shows, they didn't ask curly questions, nothing controversial, which was good. We could have dealt with that, but
we've all heard that.
Yeah, sorry, go on.
I was going to say we've all heard about that, though. It's water under the bridge for the fans, I guess.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I think what we really noticed on that book tour was, that the audiences that came were probably older than, if you go to an Angel show, there's a lot of young people come, but there were more older people, and the reason being, I think, is because, the book tells the story of our entire life. Well, a lot of these people that have come, the Angels has meant something to them for their entire adult life, and you know, we're a major band for them. You know, I mean, so there are people who met each other at an Angels gig and married and got kids, and so it's they're incredibly lovely people and respectful, and no one really wanted to talk about any kind of issues, falling outs with people or anything like that. Because we don't even want to talk about any of that sort of stuff. As far as I'm concerned, everybody that ever played in the Angels, I value highly.
Yeah. Oh,
some people leave. But sadly, 2 people died.
Yeah, it's a wonderful attitude to have. Taking it all the way back, how long did you think the Angels were going to last?
When we started.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I used to get asked interviews when people were interested to interview us, when it finally became known.
Yeah.
And people, they'd say, well, how long did this band all go on? And I'd sort of say, I have no idea, but, I guess maybe another 5 years, maybe,
Yeah.
And then 5 years later, I might get asked the same question, and I'd say, I don't know. I reckon there's probably another 5 years in us. And then 5 years later, etc., etc., etc. And if I'm asked now, 43 years later, I'd probably say, well, I don't know, maybe another 5 years.
5 years. That's a great answer. I mean, the Angels have always been one of my favourite Australian bands, and but you've really got that global fan base as well, even though you might not be as huge as you were back home. Whenever I go to the States, one of the questions most people ask me is, have you interviewed Rick or John recently? Normally it's from people like the one person who always asks me is Jack Russell from Great White. They did a couple of our songs, of course. Yeah.
But you can't shake it and face the day, and but there's Guns N' Roses used to do Marseille, and
yes.
In fact, they actually did Marseille. It was a bit of a tribute to Doc after he died.
Yeah.
I guess Axel doesn't realise that actually I wrote that song, but that doesn't matter. It's a tribute to Doc. It's a tribute to the Angels. The whole west coast of the US, we did really, really well there. In Seattle in particular, we did 2 Paramounts there, headlining. So we played to 12,000 people there. I'm told that Dave Grohl came as a 14-year-old kid with his dad.
Oh, wow.
He's one of the greats as far as I'm concerned. So if we had even the slightest influence on Dave Grohl's musical life, then I'm pretty proud of that.
Yeah, it's an amazing thought to have. If the offer came up again, would you consider doing a short tour of the States?
Yeah, I think we would. I mean, if you asked me that a few years ago, I'd probably say, I really doubt it. But only 2 years ago, we did get offered. We got offered the Sweden Rock Festival, and we thought, you know what, we can do this. And so the agency got onto some people, and we ended up doing a gig in London. We did the Garage in London. We did another gig called Le Forum in Paris, and that in particular. And then, of course, we did the Sweden Rock Festival to do massive crowd there. But the one that really stands out to me was the Paris gig, because we got there at 2:00 in the afternoon. And they were the most fantastic people that ran this club. They sort of fed us and etc. But waiting outside the venue would have been, I don't know, over 100 people.
Wow.
And we hadn't played France for 35 years. Some crazy, stupid management decision way back that we wanted to focus on the US, and we never went back to Europe. And yet we did so well in Europe. And anyway, there were all these fanatic people. I look at these people that are standing outside with memorabilia, and we got us to sign stuff, etc. And I don't think there was. I think most of those people wouldn't have been born when we played there.
Yeah.
So they were like early 30s.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting.
And that audience was amazing. I mean, God, they were singing Rick's guitar solo.
Fantastic.
En masse. It was like, geez, they're part of the band.
It's interesting in Europe at the moment. There seems to be a resurgence in interest of the younger generation in music from the sort of 70s and 80s that we're not quite seeing yet over here. So hopefully it will make our way.
Well, it's interesting, Mark, that you say that, because I can't comment on the scene in Australia, because I play in a rock and roll band and I go out on the road, but I don't exist within the music scene. But but I can tell you that at an Angel show, you would be amazed how many young people come.
Yeah.
I'm talking about people who aren't much older than 20. So they've obviously have got into the 70s and 80s and stuff. So, which of course we're very, very happy about.
I blame good parents for that.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's interesting, isn't it? Because when I guess when we were teenagers, we weren't really interested in our parents' music.
No, that's right. Yeah.
It's different now.
It's different now, I think, because music's taken a bit of a dive for me. I mean, I'm much more comfortable listening to the Angels than I am a lot of new bands that are around now, and I guess in a way it's sad, but in a way it's I guess refreshing that the younger crowd have still got bands like the Angels to come out and see as well. As well as
I agree.
Yeah, as well as the talking tour. There's a new double CD album of the same name, Brothers, Angels and Demons, out. Came out at the start of August. Do you get much input into the sort of track listing on releases like that these days?
Absolutely, and Rick and I curated that. We wanted to have one album with Doc Neeson on it, although the other one actually has got Doc on 2 Moonshine Jack and String Band songs. So in a way, it's a good book accompaniment because there are Moonshine Jack and String Bands on it, Brewster Brothers are on it. So that's stuff that Rick and I did for ourselves. My sons are playing on some of it from live at Foxtel. With Dave Gleason, we've got tracks with Dave singing. And that's on the album number 1, and then album number 2 is songs that Rick and I chose because we love them. But also, and there's some there we're tipping our hat to our audiences too, because, for example, Alexander from the Darkroom album, where Rick and I listen to the opening of that and cringe sometimes. Oh, why do we do that grunt thing, But when you listen to the song, it's actually a bloody good song. So, we wanted that to be there because so many people ask us about Alexander. Oh, why don't you play Alexander? So anyway, that goes on the album, and some of the songs from the Skin and Bone album, which Rick and I have sort of retrospectively discovered. I think when we released that album, we were so sick of it because it took years to record it that we kind of passed it by, and we've gone back and listened to it and realised that we actually made a great album.
It is. It's certainly one of my favourites. It's wonderful, and you're taking all that out on the road between October and November as well. But you got some very special guests as well with you on tour. How did you choose how to take out?
Well, we chose them because every band that's playing with us, let's see, now we're talking Perth, aren't we, at the moment? So
yes, yeah.
Have we got Rose Tattoo, I think, in Perth?
I think it's My Sex, in Perth.
Oh, it might be My Sex, yeah. Well, My Sex, they go way back with us. They came over from New Zealand, and one of the first things they did when they landed in Australia was go out and check out the Angels, and apparently it caused them to change their repertoire. They went, oh shit, we got to play more like that, But they're a fantastic band. They've got great songs, and we did a whole tour with them in 2016. So we really want to just renew that friendship and have them play with us on some of these shows. We've got Rose Tattoo playing some shows with us. Of course, they go right back to our Alberts days, and we're both in the same record company, along with AC/DC, etc. You would know the story there.
Yes.
And then Diesel's doing Sydney with us. Diesel's a guy that came into our world a bit later than I think it was in the 90s when he came into our world, but he's become a great friend of ours, and everybody that's playing with us has got some history with the band.
Yes, it's fantastic. There'll be some great shows. Take it all the way back for us just for a second. I always intrigued by the answer to this question. When did you realise music was going to be your life? Was it a gradual realisation, or was there a blinding moment of clarity when you saw something and you knew that that's what you were going to do? For
me personally, it was when I saw Bob Dylan in 1966, and to me that was a life-changing concert. And it's kind of funny because how that thought at the time then ended up becoming Me and the Angels, I'm not quite sure, but just that process of evolution. I mean, I saw the Beatles too. You know, when I say I saw the Beatles, yes, I saw the Beatles, didn't hear them. But you know, I mean, that's very exciting for me too. You know, queuing up for 3 days to get my Beatles ticket, and then going to the concert and then getting completely pissed off with all the girls that just screamed right through that. No one listened to their music then.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
But it was terribly exciting. I mean, the 60s really is what did it for me. The 60s was an amazing era of music, you know, and went from poppy, sort of lovey-dovey poppy stuff to, you know, Jimi Hendrix doing Are You Experienced, and, you know, just great music. Dylan, to me, was at the forefront of the whole thing.
Yes, yeah, a wonderful performer, and I think the 60s really gave us everything that came after. I mean, you can't imagine a more creative decade. Love the 70s, but you can see where that came from as well. If you could have been a fly on the wall for the creation of any great album, just to see how the magic happened, what's that album for you that always inspires you and you always keep coming back to?
Well, I'd probably say Blonde on Blonde. Dylan, that would be, if I could be a fly on the wall, that would definitely be a wall I would like to have been a fly on, because I think that album is extraordinary. It's just extraordinary. I mean, you know, one whole side of an analogue disc was Sad-Eyed Lady of the Lowlands, which apparently they recorded about 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the great performances on record of all time.
Yeah.
But, you know, I could also say, well, I sort of almost was a bit of a fly on the wall for AC/DC, but I wasn't there when they I was there when they recorded Let There Be Rock, by the way.
Oh, wow.
But I think one of their greatest albums that we would have been around, but I don't remember really being in the studio much with them, maybe for a couple of the tracks, because we often saw their tracks go down and they were often there when we were recording. But to me, their Power Age album, I think, is a standout AC/DC album, probably my favourite of the lot.
Oh, we've got something else in common then. It's definitely my favourite. There's just something
there.
there.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I'm a rhythm guitar player, as you probably know, or you do know, and I think it's you know, I don't mean to separate the brothers, but I think it's a great Malcolm album. And it's a great Bon album. I mean, it's a great AC/DC album, but the rhythm guitar through that, to me, is extraordinary.
It is. It's sublime, isn't it? It's wonderful.
There's a bit more blues in that album than a lot of their others.
Yeah. And we've got a final question to close with, if that's okay. We'll keep it. We'll keep it easy for you. What is the meaning of life?
Thanks for an easy question. I don't know. You know, we've got a Brewster Brothers song called "Would You Do It Again?" that really asks the question that if you had to live your life over again, and you had to go through all the ups and downs of that life, that, in other words, you had to go through a carbon copy of what you've been through, would you do it again? And I think the simple answer to that is, maybe a banal answer to that is, yeah, I would, because I'm really happy with where I am now.
Yeah.
And, you know, our life is, you know, in personal lives, I think I'm speaking for Rick as well as me, and you know, my family life, etc. The band life with Dave Gleason and my son and Mick Norton, that couldn't be better. And we have gone through some absolute shit, you know, at times, but I don't know if that's answered your question, but I think in a sense, the meaning of life is wrapped up in that in that answer anyway. You know?
It sounds very much
live
like live a good life and enjoy it. Yeah, what could be better than that?
We're lucky people, because you're probably lucky too. I don't know whether you play music or not, but you obviously appreciate it. And I think people who have music as part of their life, whether they're playing it or just or being a listener, are lucky people.
Yeah, I can't imagine life without it, and can't imagine music without the Angels. So thank you so much for taking the time today, John.
Well, Mark, it's a very kind thing to say. I really appreciate it. And I've loved talking to you.
We'll catch up with you when you hit Perth. Wonderful.
Lovely. Yeah, cheers. It should be great.
Thanks, John. Take care.
Thank you, Mark. Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.